What's up guys, I'm just a gamer and I'm back with my review of Possessors. This is the Metroidvania style game from developer Heart Machine and publisher Devolver Digital. The story revolves around Luca, a human, and Rem, I guess you could say demon or devil, and they are forced to pair together to survive and to explore and navigate this city named Sanzu after a catastrophic event. And that's pretty much what I'll say on the story on there. But yeah, overall I thought this game was really good. It had really solid gameplay, and graphical style is really interesting and really just beautiful and grotesque in a lot of ways. And overall this was just a really good Metroidvania, one of the best Metroidvanias I've played in a long while. And yeah, let's just start off with what I really loved, and that is the gameplay. Again, this game is a Metroid style game where it is 2D and it's action adventure with some platforming where you navigate this map or area known as Sanzu City, and you're able to fight enemies along the way, and as the game progresses you unlock traversal abilities that let you explore more of the map. So basically you're just exploring what you can and going where you can, while figuring out story beats and taking out enemies and bosses. And again, this game just does it very well. The controls feel solid. The attacks when you're fighting feel really good. They don't feel like they all feel like they have impact, especially when you have like different weapons and abilities. And yeah, overall the gameplay, it just feels really good. And early on you get a whip that lets you grapple enemies, and if they're small you're able to pull them towards you, and if they're big you will sometimes pull yourself towards them. But not always the case. That's something that they said would happen, but it didn't happen to me all that much. Most of the time I would use the whip and grab an enemy and it would just tick as if it's trying to pull, and then the whip would just go away. So even though the game says you will, it'll either pull the enemy towards you or pull you towards the enemy, I feel like it never really happened, you being pulled. At least with the smaller enemies, yes, for sure that you would pull them to you, but I guess I was doing it wrong or something, but I just feel like personally I was never pulled towards an enemy. But yeah, regardless, the whip is also used to as a grapple hook, so you can swing and climb. I really appreciate the ability of the whip, that from the get-go you're able to climb up and down it, and just there's no it's not stuck to just being a whip to just swing and that's it. It actually has utility of being able to climb up and down, and you're actually able to use that to swing and towards smaller gaps by climbing up the rope a bit and swinging a bit higher up. Or if you want to cover more distance, climb down the whip to as long as you can and swing so you can reach farther away to another grapple point or a ledge you can grab onto. And yeah, just all the abilities that you get in this game, they feel really good, and they're immediately useful. And again, back to combat, you are very much immediately given, not immediately, but early on you're given a parry where you can parry projectiles back at enemies, but this can also be used against physical attacks as well. And as well as you have a dodge that gives you quite a few, the dodge doesn't the dodge is actually pretty lengthy and you go pretty far, so it actually gives you a lot of frames, even though I would say there are a few times where maybe the attacks felt like it just got hit regardless of how many frames you had. There were a few like that, but overall the dodge is really strong, and so is the parry, and you're given both of these abilities pretty early on. And so a lot of the enemies you do run into, for a good majority of the game, a lot of stuff does not pose a threat. You're able to as long as you know how to dodge really well and just know when to use your parry, you're able to reflect projectiles back at enemies to and the dodge again is again really strong, so you can avoid a lot of attacks. But again, it still feels good. It still feels solid, and like I never had a problem like with like an attack or something just didn't feel like it hit. I always felt like if I got hit, that was on me, and if I was able to get a hit on somebody, it felt super satisfying. But yeah, like, so just combat and traversal, I think this game does a fantastic job of like keeping you engaged and keeping you wanting to explore more. And yeah, speaking of which, let's move on to just real quick the art style, which I have to say this game is really, really beautiful. It has a very unique like anime like art style where the characters are like, you see portraits of them talking, and they're all done very well. They're all very like, I wouldn't say they're not clean, because there are some like messy parts to them, but at the same time they look like very pristine. I don't know how to explain it, but the point is they look good. Let's just say they look good. And the art style also goes into the city itself, the backgrounds, the environments. They are fantastic, and again, like similar to how the gameplay made me want to made me want to explore, like the actual exploration was fantastic as well, because these environments looked really great, really good. Again, you're in Sanzu City and you see like the destroyed city, like stuff is like all over the place, and it's horrible, but at the same time it's like kind of beautiful, which is very weird to say, but that's just how I saw it and how I felt. And yeah, like again, the art style in this game is super nice. I really enjoyed it, and I really enjoyed the characters. Well, maybe not that much. Let's take that back, because there is something I want to say about that. But for now, I will say that the art style is actually really good, really beautiful, and I really, really dug it. I touched on it earlier, but the thing I have the most mixed feelings about is actually the game's story. And full disclosure, this game does deal with some very mature themes, specifically, toxic relationships and abusive relationships, and just know that going forward. And yeah, like the overall story I would say is fine. I do feel like there's a lot not really not enough of it is explored. But the thing that I had like the most problem with was the two main characters, Luca and Rem. Both of them were kind of unlikable. Like they're both just like kind of jerks to each other like throughout the entire game. And even when there are moments of like that, like they seem to be coming to an understanding, they'll go back to just insulting each other or being like really negative to each other, and more so on Luca, the human's part, than Rem. Rem is more or less, neutral most of the time, but like even then he can still come off as kind of being kind of a jerk. But it's mostly Luca as well that's like, most of the time she's the one that I'm just like, she's being unnecessarily like mean or upset, like, and it's just, again, I can understand the overall context of it, but at the same time I just felt like it came off as like their eventual friendship kind of seemed forced, because like throughout the entirety of the game it feels like they're really not getting along. So like as the game progresses and like at one point it just kind of switches, like it just kind of like, oh, they're starting to be nice to each other, and then you're like, it just kind of feels forced. And even then, like I said, when that point does, even past that point of like when it looks like they might be starting to get along, comes another scene or like little dialogue where it looks like they're still like kind of like not that good with each other. And it's just, so yeah, like the story is kind of like, it's fine, but I feel like there's a lot they missed out on, and a lot left, unexplored. And then just the two main characters being a little unlikable, and then as well as like you meet some other characters along the way, and there's like quite a few of them. There's nothing. There's just some dialogue, and there's nothing else to their character, and you really don't learn more about them outside of like the first few sentences you get from them, and that's it. Like we really don't get to explore any more of these little side characters we meet all that much. Like maybe we'll get a little tidbit more here or there, but like a lot of these side characters are still super mysterious, and we really don't understand like what their motivations or what's going on. It's just like it just felt like they were just there to be there, and like to just talk to us, give us maybe a side mission to do, and that's it. Once we even completed the side mission, we'd get maybe a little bit more dialogue from them, but again, like not really much, and it just felt like there was, you know, something lost there. There's something that could have been explored a bit more. So again, like I will say, like the story overall is fine, but I just feel like there was kind of not enough there, and also the two main characters were kind of unlikable. And then one thing I forgot to mention with the art again is the enemies in this game are very interesting, just because, again, I didn't want to talk about it too much because it is like, I feel like you should go in story wise as, you know, blind as possible. But basically, like, the enemies in this game are items that are possessed, and these possessed items, you know, become monsters. So like it's very interesting when you see a globe, like a school, like a earth globe, flying around trying to attack you, as well as books and filing cabinets and so on and so forth. And it's just very cool and very interesting to see how some of these, you know, average day items who are now possessed become like these monsters. And some of them are really, really like unique and interesting. But yeah, again, back to the story. I just wanted to say overall fine, but more could have been done, and a lot of lost opportunities were, you know, just tossed to the wayside. But yeah, but that's pretty much it. Those are my thoughts and review. Obviously, at the time of this recording, I finished my playthrough. I'm done with the game. I just have to finish uploading it to YouTube. I'm just editing it right now at this point. But yeah, I overall would say if you like Metroidvanias, if you like, you know, action adventure games of this type, or even if you don't, this could be a nice starting point, because the game is relatively easy. Like I said, you get a lot of abilities that are really good in the very beginning of the game, and the game is more or less pretty easy. I mean, there are a few boss fights that are little, maybe it takes 1 or 2 tries, but overall this game was not that hard at all. So I would say if this is your first foray into a Metroidvania style game, you're not going the wrong path. It's actually really good, and I would highly recommend it even if you're a beginner. And then again, for those of you who like Metroidvanias, this is a very solid Metroidvania style game, and I would highly recommend it. And that being said, there are a couple of bugs here and there, but nothing too major. One of the more funnier ones is like some enemy attacks just going right through me. Like the enemy's right on top of me and they're trying to attack me, and the animations are just not hitting me at all. So there are a few little bugs here and there, but nothing game breaking or overly obtrusive. But yeah, overall this was a fantastic game. I had a really good time with it, and I recommend it, especially if you like Metroidvania style games. But those are my thoughts. That's my review. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like or comment down below. I'd appreciate any and all feedback. Subscribe. I finally got multi-streaming down, so if you want, you can catch me on Twitch at twitch.tv/justagamerink, all together in a word, or you can click the link below. And on YouTube, just hit that notification to know when I go live. But have you played Possessors? What are your thoughts on it? Did you agree, disagree? Let me know in the comments down below. Would love to hear from you. But regardless, thank you for watching, and until next time, take care and have a good game.